Hi there everybody, this is Ryan and lesson 15 of working with JavaScript. In this lesson we'll be learning all about working with dates and time. So we link to our external file once again, and we have our div where we can output some information. One standard anonymous function after the document is loaded. And just like we have a built-in array object in JavaScript, we also have a built-in date object. So if I say now is equal to new date, that creates a child object of its parent. And the date object would obviously have a whole bunch of properties and methods. So let me just output quickly the value of now, which is the object itself. I'm going to open up the lesson 15. And you can see it gives me the current date and time. Now this date and time is going to be the time that your computer is set to. So if you look at your clock on your computer, that will correspond to the time and date that comes up here. So if your clock is wrong on your local PC, or if anyone's viewing this particular web page and their clock is wrong, the wrong date and time will come up. Remember, JavaScript is a client-side language, so it's dependent on what's happening on the client. So that's each individual person's machine. So let's now look at some of the methods of the date object. There aren't really any properties of the date object, so we'll just be looking at methods. So I'm going to create a whole bunch of variables. So we'll have a variable for the year. So if we say now.getYear, or rather now.getFullYear, and then we display just y to the block, to our div, you can see it gives me a 4-digit year from that date. If I wanted the month, I could say now.getMonth. Let's have a look what that looks like. I'll just put a space and then display the month. We get a very strange situation. So at the time of writing this example, we're sitting in October, and yet it's coming back with a 9 as the month. And that's because in JavaScript a 0 is the same as January, and a 12 is the same as 11 is the same as December. So it's one less than what we used to. So in order to display the correct number, I would have to add 1 to that. And I'd probably then have to put that in brackets so that it does the calculation. Now it looks better. If we in October, it gives me a 10. But it would be much better, I think, if we could actually display the word October rather than just a number. And unfortunately, there isn't a built-in function in JavaScript to do that. So what we have to do is create an array instead. So I'm going to create an array of all the different month names. So month names, we have January, February, March, etc., etc. If you run out of space, you can always just continue over multiple lines. And close off the array. So now I've got an array of all 12 months of the year. Just remember the array begins at 0 and ends at 11 in this case, which is actually quite convenient for us, seeing that we know the getMonth function returns a number from 0 to 11. So instead of m, all I need to do is I need to say month names, square brackets, m. And that should give me the corresponding month name. So there I have October. Much better than just having 10. Okay, then some other functions or methods of the date object. I can use getDate. Let's see what that gives us. Let's add a space plus a D. D is coming back with 7. Now today is the 7th of October when I wrote this example. So that's good. I'm going to swap things around a little bit, so I'll rather start with the day, then the month, then the year. Looks a bit better. Now another function or method that's built in is the method to give us the day of the week. So that would be getDay. So if I display DOW, day of week, today happens to be Monday. Let's see what it gives us. Gives me a 1. Okay, so once again it's giving back a number instead of the name. So instead of saying Monday, it's said 1. So a 0 corresponds to a Sunday. Then Tuesday would be 2, and Wednesday would be 3, and so on. So there's no easy way to do this. There's no easy function or method that can give us the names of the days of the week. So what we have to do is build another array, as we did with the month names. So I'll call this one weekdays, and I'll have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You can use abbreviations or the full day of the week, doesn't matter. These are the 7 days of the week. And now instead of using DOW, because that's a 1, I'll just use the name of the array and put that as the index of the array, and it will look up DOW, which we know is a 1, so it will look up 0, 1, it should give me Monday. Let's have a look. There we go, Monday, 7 October 2013. And then we can also there are also similar functions for the hour, the minute, and the second as well. So we could say var hour is equal to now.getHours, and then there's var.getMinutes, var.getSeconds, and var.getMilliseconds. So if I display the hour, it is currently 2 o'clock or 20 past 2, but you see it gives me 14 for the hour it's a 24-hour format. And I'm not going to show you the minute and the second, it's pretty straightforward. It's the same methodology. So that's working with the date object. It's also possible to set a date. So if we just say var now is equal to new date, that would be the current date and time. But we could also create another object, for example Christmas, and I could say equal to new date, but now I could actually give it the hour, the year, the month, the day. So the year I'd say 2013, the month is 11, and the day is 25. Remember that 11 is actually the same as December in JavaScript. 0 would be January. So 25th of December 2013, that's Christmas Day. You could also give it the hour and the minute and the second, but I'm going to leave that out. If you leave it out, it will just default to midnight on that day. Let's just display it to the panel just so we can see what it looks like. Okay, so it says Wednesday, December 25th, 2013 at midnight. So that's Christmas Day this year, 2013. So now let's say I wanted to determine how many days there are till Christmas. What I could do is calculate the difference between the two date objects. So I'll make a variable called diff to calculate the difference, and I'll say Christmas minus now. Let me just display that to the screen. Should give me quite a large number, and that number is actually the number of milliseconds till Christmas. So if I wanted to see that in days, I would need to divide by 1000 because there's 1000 milliseconds in a second. I'd have to divide by 60 because there's 60 seconds in a minute. Divide by 60 again because there's 60 minutes in an hour. Divide by 24 because there's 24 hours in a day. So that should then tell me how many days there are till Christmas. So there are currently 78 point something days till Christmas Day. So if you ever need to make some kind of a countdown system in JavaScript where you need to show how many days there are or how many hours there are till a certain event, this is the methodology that you would use. You could still take the decimal component of this and calculate how many hours, minutes and seconds are there till Christmas Day if you really wanted to go down that level. And this ends our lesson in working with the built-in date object in JavaScript.